Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Ross, again from Arturo's Fan Club, as always. Just wanted to recap a little bit of what went down early Sunday morning, maybe afternoon for some folks. It was morning for me, against the Brooklyn Nets for our dear, beloved Chicago Bulls. I wanted to record this earlier, but like a Sunday, I guess you could call it Sunday afternoon game, like that's when I'm cleaning my house, my apartment. So all that kind of got pushed back. But yeah, I mean, just what a game. Um, so the Bulls played the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets were without KD and James Harden. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's a game that we should have won, and we did. It was one of the best games I've seen from the Bulls all season. And after the game against the Jazz, where they actually played pretty well but still ended up losing, these last two games, I'm actually feeling really good about where the team is at right now. Vucevic had another big game. He had a double-double by halftime, which was awesome. The dude is great. I mean, what more is there to say? He's an all-star. He can score from anywhere on the court. He is a threat every time he has the ball in his hands. His three was kind of looking shaky for a bit there, but he started to hit his stride a little bit in this game. Zach LaVine, same thing. He started off a little slow, but fourth quarter LaVine hit a dagger towards the end of the game, kind of put the Bulls ahead and put it away from the Nets. A few takeaways that I wanted to mention, just off the top of my head. Number one, I think that the Thad and Vooch front court is fantastic for Pat Williams at the three. And you can kind of see the way the rest of the five shakes out with LaVine and Sato, who we'll get to Saransky, who had a great game too. The way that the court opens up between Thad and Vooch. Obviously, Thad is a strong down low presence. He actually has a decent offensive game. Like, I know we look at Thad as more of like a facilitator and a defender, but he has like a really nice kind of post hook, and he's crafty down low. Like, he'll get in position, he'll spin around guys. Like, he's got moves. He's a savvy veteran. That's what we signed him to be. And then obviously paired with Vucevic's great passing. If I'm saying it wrong, can you correct me? Vucevic? Vucevic? I don't know. His great passing, and his threat to score anywhere on the court. I think you've seen a lot of really great plays for Pat open up. I think he had an and one today. I don't know. He's been getting down the lane and getting good looks at the basket. And I think that has a lot to do with defenders needing to respect Vucevic when he leaks out and is on the 3-point line. And then just Thad's willingness and he's always looking to make a pass. He's always looking to set a teammate up. So I was really pleased with what I've seen the past couple of games, from the three forwards, I guess you could call them, between Pat Williams, Vucevic, and Thad Young. Then we can talk about the guards, because Tomas Saransky had a fantastic game. I don't want to butcher his stats here. He had a double-double. He had 19 and 11, 19 points, 11 assists. And I think the big thing that he provides is a calming presence. There was a point there in the fourth where it started to look a little shaky, like the Bulls might lose the lead. And like in the fourth quarter, the Nets actually did outscore the Bulls. So like that threat was really there. But Billy subbed in Satoransky at the right time. They kind of slowed the offense down. He found Zach. Zach hit a couple big shots. And I think with Satoransky, like, he's just another savvy veteran who's not... He kind of reminds me of like a prime Kirk Heinrich in a way. He's wet from three. He hits that three. He plays, scrappy defense. I think prime Kirk was a little better. But, he plays scrappy defense, and he's a very good passer. So I was really pleased with what I saw from Satoransky today. It just seemed like whenever we needed something big, be it a big pass to set up a score, or just a big shot, he was there and he was ready to make the play. Let's see. Another guy I wanted to point out is Laurie Markkanen, who obviously there's a conversation about Laurie Markkanen right now. The most recent episode of the Inner Tourist We Trust podcast, we talk about Laurie Markkanen. He's still struggling a lot with defense, which I think is just going to be a thing for him. I think that's something we might just have to accept about him as a player. But that said, there were a couple moments that I liked where he was aggressive, driving down the lane, looking to get in the paint and work on, his post game. Then there are a couple moments where it's like he's sitting at the 3-point line. He has a guy half his size defending him, and he's just standing there. So he's inconsistent. He has his moments. There were just a couple moments in the game today where it was like, okay, Laurie, like that's what we want to see from you. Same thing with like boxing out, getting boards. He had a few really nice rebounds. It's consistency with him. So coming off the bench is probably the right role for him. Only played 23 minutes, it looks like. So outside of, he played the fewest bench minutes for a forward. Daniel Tice came in for 24 minutes. Trey Brown had 28 minutes. We got to talk about Trey Brown Jr. We can talk about Daniel Tice though, real quick. I just want to point out that he is cool. I don't have a word for it. He's cool because like you don't expect this guy who is kind of your enforcer on the defensive end to also be able to just hit threes every now and then. And he had like a moving three today where it was like it didn't look like it should go in, but it went in. It was also his birthday, so shout out Daniel Tice. Happy birthday. Nice way to get a win on your birthday. Must feel nice. Just impressed with him overall. Trey Brown Jr. though, let's talk about him because man, he's fun to watch because he's so active. The word that I would use for Trey Brown Jr. is active. He'll get you second chance points. He got a couple offensive rebounds, I think, today. He's just always involved. Like actually, there was one play in particular that I'm remembering off the top of my head, and it's like the kind of thing that I don't think you'll see on a stat sheet. But like someone on the Nets was going to save the ball, and he read it. He saw what they were trying to do to save the ball from going out of bounds, and like he just waited there. He knew exactly where the ball was going to be. He stayed there, and sure enough, they passed it directly to him. It was like picture perfect. He knew exactly where the ball was going to be. It hit him in the hands. He's just smart, and it seems like the game, the flow of the game comes naturally to him. Like he's not pressing the issue. Kind of something you see with Laurie Markkanen sometimes on defense, where it's like you can tell he's really trying to be good, but he's not kind of there in the basketball IQ sense of things to understand what he's seeing. So I'm really impressed with him. And I think overall the new guys are gelling really well with, our core, who I think at this point our core is Zach LaVine, Pat Williams, Thad Young. And now I guess it's becoming Thomas Saransky too. Like he's kind of a big part of that. Kobe White's kind of on the outside looking in. We played a really good game today without Kobe White. That's not to say that he's not important. I was pleased that Trey Brown played significantly more minutes than Denzel Valentine, which has been an issue lately, I think. It's interesting to see what Billy ends up doing when Kobe's like full go back to full strength. This wasn't the neck injury. This was like a health and safety protocol thing. So shout out to Kobe. Hope he's good, man. I think Billy Donovan's rotations deserve a shout out tonight too. I think he did a good job of balancing offense and defense, especially with the second unit. I think he did a good job of recognizing when guys needed to be subbed out. Like I kind of brought up that moment with Thomas Satoransky where it was like, okay, he needs to get into the game. He brought Trey Brown in at the right time in the first half, I feel like. The flow of the game just made sense. He was reading the players pretty well. I feel like they have a pretty good relationship based on everything we've heard. The players really like Billy Donovan. So I feel like, there's that honesty level of like, I'm good to go. Let's stay in the game. Or like maybe they need a breather, whatever it might be. I just feel like this was one of his most well-coached games. It felt like everything just came natural for everyone, the whole team. On defense, there's not a lot you can do about Kyrie Irving. There were a couple possessions where like Zach LaVine was guarding him like a shadow. Kyrie Irving just still hit the shot. Same thing with like Tice and Vucevic. Like these are very tall men, Kyrie Irving is not nearly as tall as them. He's a shorter NBA player by some metric, and he's just shooting over their outstretched arms. It's actually kind of crazy. So there's not a lot you can do about that. I don't really hold that against anyone. I think defensively we played a really good game. There was one defensive possession, I want to say like midway through the game, where it was just like, I think Stacy and Adam, they both kind of mentioned it too. They just kind of pointed out like, wow, that was like one of the best defensive possessions from this team this whole season, maybe even the best. So overall, just a well executed game on both ends of the court. I'm very pleased. I'm very happy. It's great to see these guys get a win because I know that they've been hurting for it. Going on a losing streak sucks, especially after you make these trades for these new players. You want to make a good impression on them. You want to show them that, you know, this is the kind of team you want to stick around for long term. But once again, Vooch had a big game. Zach had a huge game. Saransky had a big game. It's just, it was everything you wanted to see. I called it synergy on Twitter. It was just everything you wanted to see from your new guys and your guys who have been here for, you know, a couple years now. Everyone just kind of played together, played team basketball, and they got a good victory. So I'm feeling good about it. I wanted to lay down some thoughts with you guys just because, you know, Sunday basketball, the Lady Wildcats lost. That kind of sucked. I was disappointed by that. Cubs won. I was happy about that. Good day for Chicago sports. I'm not a White Sox fan, so I'm not going to talk about them, but was pleased with what I saw from my teams today. But yeah, I mean, let's see what happens going down the stretch here. This is an extremely important part of the season. I mean, this is make or break time. Are we going to make the playoffs or not? The team I saw today was a playoff team. That looked like a playoff team, if they can play like that, especially against the Nets, who are one of the best teams in the NBA. Once again, banged up. I understand that. But still, you know, those are the games you want to win, and they won. So no complaints here. Thank you guys for hanging out and listening to some of my thoughts. As always, check out my Twitter, @ArturousFanClub. That's where the stream of consciousness in-game tweets are coming. Sometimes people will bet me to shut up during a game, and sometimes I'll win that bet. That actually happened a few nights ago. So thanks again, guys. The merch drop was fantastic. That went really, really well. I was really happy about that. We're going to do another merch drop coming up here pretty soon. Stay tuned for that. I'll obviously be giving you guys updates when that comes down the line. The new episode of In Arturos We Trust is up. New episodes every Friday of the In Arturos We Trust podcast. You can find it on all your favorite podcast streaming apps. And I guess that's it for now. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. It helps a lot. I don't edit these videos, so if I say something and I sound stupid, it's just going to be on the internet forever. That's how it goes. But go Bulls! See red! Great game. Feeling good about it. And I'll catch you guys later.